You can't use up your creativity. The more you use, the more you have, said by Maya Angelou. This quote stayed with me since I have read it. It's simple but powerful and completely describes my journey. The more I imagined, the more I created. The more I created, the more confident I became. Hi everyone, I am Sathvik Samaddar, standing in front of you all, not just as a student, but as an innovator, an author, and the one who believes that age doesn't limit your dreams. And today, I am here to take you all on a journey, not through the pages of my book, but through my own journey, from reading a book to writing a book. So, let's start off by a magic. Now, close your eyes for 3 seconds, go back in time, and think about the book that you have read which took you to another world where you had never been. 3, 2, and 1. Now open your eyes. Now, the feeling that you had just had is the magic of reading that a book holds in it. Books act same as a passport, which helps us to go anywhere we want. That's why George R.R. Martin said that a reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies, and the man who never reads lives only one. This quote beautifully captures the transformative power of reading. How reading helps us to give experiences, different experiences and different lives to live. Whenever we read, we step into someone else's world where we had never been. And that's the real magic of reading. And the man who never reads misses out this experience. Along with reading, if you have a story in your mind, don't wait. Just start writing. But make sure that you have gathered enough knowledge for it by reading. That's why Stephen King told that if you don't have the time to read, you don't have the time or tool to write. Where he tries to tell that reading is the foundation. Reading builds the base and foundation of writing. And if you don't read and just start writing, your work will lose the strength and depth there. That's why reading is so important. And now, let's jump into my own journey. I started writing not because someone told me to. I started writing because I fell in love with books. Reading was my first passion because, as I already said, it's magical. Whenever I read, I went to places where I had never been. I met people whom I had never met. And this thing was noticed by my teachers. They encouraged me to read more and gave me books. They made me feel like the books are like hidden treasures for me, waiting to be discovered. They always supported creative thinking. And they believed that students should not only focus on their studies, they should also explore their talents. And my parents, they were my first cheerleaders. They always told me that if you love reading, read more, and if you want to write, write freely. This kind of guidance is rare, and I am lucky to have it. One day, when I was reading a suspense thriller novel, something hit my mind. A blast of imagination. I paused and asked myself, what if I could write something like this? What if I could make a world full of monsters, emotions, and tons of characters? At that moment, I was not imagining my stories. I was imagining myself transforming, changing from a normal student to a student who balances everything with studies. And from that day, I knew what I had to do. I had to write, not for just a fun, but as a serious project. I started writing. At first, it was just an idea in the notebook. Then it turned into scenes, dialogues, and chapters. I didn't worry about being perfect. I just focused on being real and honest. But as a student, it is not easy to write because I had school, homework, exams, and many other responsibilities. I needed to manage everything. So I made a timetable. I made a routine. Studies first, writing later on. So I wrote only in weekends, after finishing homework, and sometimes in the short breaks in school. I also shared plots and drafts to my teachers, who always encouraged me to write more and always held me throughout my journey. And gradually, my writings turned into a book, My dream was coming true. But this was only the first challenge that I've completed. The next challenge was to publish it. And that's where my parents became my superheroes. They worked hard, they struggled a lot. They contacted many publishers, sent emails, made phone calls. And then, after a lot of hard work, my book got published. My dream came true. But after publishing, something amazing happened. People started reading it and talking about it. And then awards came. I won 8 awards for my book. They are not just medals or certificates. They are the symbol of hard work, resilience, support, and success. But the biggest reward that I think I have achieved is not these awards. I think that knowing that my thoughts touched the reader's heart. Because when I asked for the feedback of my book, they told that some felt chills in their bodies, some imagined themselves in the characters, and some can't stop flipping the pages. Standing here, I feel proud and grateful. Grateful to have such parents who always held me in tough situations. Grateful to have such teachers who corrected all my mistakes in my stories and encouraged me to read more and write more. And grateful to have such friends and mentors who always told me that you can do it. And not only for me, you people can also do it. Just make sure that you read more and more, gather more knowledge, and write whatever you think, whatever you feel, and whatever you imagine. So remember the quotes and the acronym STORY. S for share your journey, share your ideas. T for transform yourself. O for overcome your fears, your ideas. R for read more and more. And Y for your voice matters. Thank you.